What is up YouTube? How are you doing today? Chana D, your Techno Dad here, and in today's video we're going to be checking out Sony's brand new 4K Blu-ray player for 2018. It is the UBP-X700, and we're going to get into it right after the jump. And I'm back. Alright, so now before we begin, if this is the kind of content you're looking for on YouTube, you should definitely consider subscribing and hitting that bell so you don't miss a beat. By the way, I just created the Techno Dad Instagram account, so don't forget to go ahead and follow that for all kinds of cool behind the scenes stuff. And since we're talking about behind the scenes, I want to take this moment to thank all my patrons on Patreon. Thank you guys so much. Alright, so back in CES 2018, I found out that Sony's new 4K Blu-ray player, the X700, will be released in January, and this one is supposed to get a Dolby Vision update. They said between spring and summer, so that's a huge time period. So we don't know when it's going to happen. They say it's going to happen. They also said the Sony X800 will not get a Dolby Vision update. Everyone that bought the Sony UBP-X700 last year will not get the firmware update because, of course, Sony wants you to buy the new one. This guy right here, this little guy right here. Coochie. So we're going to do a quick little unboxing and do a first turn on, and I'm going to tell you guys what I found out about this player. So without further ado, let's see what's in the box. So on the back of the unit, we have our power port, we've got an Ethernet port, we've got HDMI 1 and 2. Of course, HDMI 1 is for audio video, HDMI 2 is for audio only, and we have a digital coax output. As far as the front panel goes, you've got two buttons. It is the eject button and the power button. And just below the power button, we have the one and only USB port. Wasn't that cool? So, as far as the size of the player, it is a lot smaller. Now, they definitely had to go with the wall wart style plug just because they shrunk down the size of the player. It's actually widthwise smaller than my DirecTV Genie box. I think it's about the same depth, maybe a little bit shorter, but pretty much the same as my DirecTV Genie box. Now, if we're talking about build quality, it does have a metal chassis on the bottom and on the top and on the back. The only part that's full plastic is the front with all the gloss black. Totally all plastic, and that's that. One thing that I did notice when we did our first turn on, yes, it did all of the updates and everything. The menus look exactly the same as the X800 player, and I would imagine it's the same on the X1000 ES as well. That was the other 4K Blu-ray player Sony put out in 2017. One thing that was pretty annoying to me was that all the audio was set to auto on the X800, and you had to make sure some settings were switched on and off so that Atmos would work. Apparently auto does not mean auto. Guess what? In the X700, it is the same situation. However, when I went into the audio settings first, before I put in any discs to check it out, I went into the audio settings and BD mix was already set to off. And that's what you need for the unit 2-bit stream, whatever it is, Atmos or DTS-X. So you can see here in the screenshots, I was able to get DTS-X and I was able to get Dolby Atmos out of the box. So you did not have to go into the audio settings and change that. Now, if you do buy this machine and you put in a disc and you're not getting Atmos, you definitely need to go to the audio settings, go to BD mix, and make sure that's set to off. Now, if you're one of my longtime subscribers, you know my big gripe with Sony's X800 player, it's that the menus looked like they're from the 90s, and this is exactly the same. Not really too fond of it. However, I did find out a couple of cool things. What is that, you might ask, Techno Dad? Well, let me tell you. Netflix and YouTube, they both support HDR through the X700. That's pretty cool. And you know what else is really cool, which was really surprising to me, and it kind of pissed me off. Again, Sony pissing me off. How dare they, right? There's a Voodoo app on the X700. And guess what? It streams in UHD. Sony, what are you doing? Let me get this straight. So not only do I have to spend $5,000 on an A1E OLED, I do not get 4K UHD streaming on the OLED, but I have to spend $250 to get this X700 player so that I can stream 4K or UHD through Voodoo through the X700. So not only do I have to spend that $5,500, I got to spend another $250 on this little box that allow me to do something that the TV could easily do, but it's just not compatible. Like, this is the kind of stuff that's just really mind-boggling. So as you could tell, when I loaded up Voodoo and was completely surprised that we can play UHD titles from Voodoo, but on the Sony TV, we don't get that. Like, there's a complete and utter disconnect there. And if it is just a money play and they want to squeeze another $249 out of you, that's lame. That's all I'm going to say about that. So I'm sure you guys are asking me, well, how much did this cost and where did I get it? As far as I know, the one and only place to get it right now is Best Buy. That's where I got it from. With tax, it came out to like $264, something like that. I don't know. But it retails for $249, and I believe it's still on pre-order through Amazon. I'll put links in the description for both Amazon and Best Buy. You guys can check it out and figure it out on your own. But it is coming in at $249, and for a 4K Blu-ray player that's supposed to get a Dolby Vision update sometime in 2018, it could, you know, take out the Oppo UDP-203. I don't know. Could it? I don't know. We're gonna have to find out. Bottom line is, I'm gonna keep it for a couple of weeks, maybe a month, then do a full review. And then probably at that time, if Dolby Vision update has not come out for the X700 player, I will sell it. And as you guys know, or if you don't know, I give first dibs to the items I'm selling to all my patrons on Patreon. So if that's something that you might be, you know, thinking about doing, check out the link down in the description, become a patron, and join the Techno team. Well, that pretty much wraps it up for this video, guys. If you liked it, go ahead, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel using the button in the middle of your screen. Once again, my name is Chana D. I'm your Techno Dad, and I'll see you next time.